Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Today's video is going to be all about moving on, so let's just get on into it. One of the things that I noticed over the last few years is actually you can get kind of anxious about closing one chapter and moving on to the next. Life changes, and anxiety is often triggered by change. And that's understandable. We don't like big changes in life. It's scary, it's fear provoking. We have to develop new skills for each new situation that we go in. However, there are times that we do need to just move on. And actually, a lot of anxiety can come from leaving something behind. Like just saying, no, that part of my life is over. That's quite an anxious thought that can be quite scary to deal with, but it is something that we need to. So, how do we deal with that thought? The first thing that I think is super important is to look at the good things that came from that moment. It can seem counterintuitive to focus on the good things and then try and leave it behind because then you're more fond of it, you miss it more. But it helps turn your mind into a more positive headspace, right? Rather than feeling anxious about moving on, you go, wow, that was a really good time in life. Hopefully you have plenty of memories, whether that be photos, videos, but even if they're just in your head, that's the most important thing. Focusing on the good is something that's super important when it comes to anxiety because then you learn how to utilize that energy into something more productive, right? Rather than focusing on the bad of, I'm going to miss this, I'm going to miss that, or what about that, or what would I have done differently, or is there a way I could have prolonged it? No, it is what it is. It's in a place where it needs to be left in the past, and that doesn't mean that you can't look back on the past. It's like a great book. You read it, you enjoy it, and you're a little bit sad that it ended. However, if you really want to, you can go read it again. There's nothing stopping you from revisiting that. But holding on to it and just being like, well, I wish that the book carried on, that doesn't get you anywhere. Changing your headspace into something more positive and looking back on it with fondness is the first most important thing. Secondly, it's about looking forward to the future. Again, counterintuitive because with anxiety it's all about, living in the moment and just enjoying what you have now. But I find when you hold on to things in the past, you think, well, I kind of miss this, or, what if I should go back with those friends? What if I should go back and do this? No, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens at the right time. Not even necessarily the right time, but everything has its timing, whether good or bad. So if it's the end of one chapter, that means that there's also something interesting in the future. Something else that you can be fond about. That's not to say you need to plan, you don't need to worry about it, but you can look forward to what the future holds. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell you exactly what's going to happen, so you don't need to necessarily worry about it, but just think about the exciting things that can come from your future. I think one of the main issues with moving on is that you struggle to let go. I think with anxiety especially, you become so wrapped up in it and you don't want change. But also things from the past, you always want reassurance that you did well. Even if you're happy to leave certain things in the past, they can still come back and thoughts niggle in the back of your brain where you worry about something you said, something you did, or did that end because of something you did or said? It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's frustrating because, yeah, we'd like to know, but again, that's part of losing control, right? We don't know everything. We can't know everything. So if it ended, it ended. It doesn't matter why. Yes, it's nice to have reassurance, but as long as you're happy with where you are now, that's all that matters. And if you're not, rather than focusing on the past, focus on what you'd like to change for the future. Focus on what you would like to achieve, what's important to you. When it comes to moving on and that anxiety of change and moving forwards, you can always reconnect with your past if you really want to. You can reach out to old friends, you can try and strike up a conversation, you can even, go to your favorite pub that you used to go to or go to your favorite hangout spot. You can revisit the past, but often it won't be as helpful as you think. Not to say it will make your anxiety worse. Obviously, if you feel that it's something you need, that kind of consistency or just familiarity, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that often you realize you have moved on for a reason. You don't hang out there for whatever reason. You've moved on to something else, and that's exciting because you are continually growing as a person. Your life is changing and you can move on to better things. If you stay in the past and you stay in that comfort zone, you won't get that chance. Moving on is a good thing, and managing the anxiety that comes along with that is not necessarily managing a physical response. It's starting with your mindset. Think about all the things that you want to achieve, all the things you have enjoyed. Don't worry about the little things that you may have said or done, because actually it doesn't matter, and most people would have just moved on from it anyway. That's the beauty of it. Everybody moves on, and that's an exciting time. You don't need to stay in the past. You can move forward, look on to good things, but just focus your mind on that. Focus on the good things, and then you'll realize actually it's all fine. You won't feel as anxious. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, drop a thumbs up. Leave any comments you have with tips or your experience of moving on and what you found hard to move on from. Don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this, and see you next time.